Can you speak to how your first visit to Africa changed your relationship with the environment?
I think that my relationship with the environment has always been something that I was looking for a way to become more involved in. And once I had children and became a parent and really want to leave the world a better place for them, and having traveled around this continent and seeing the results of climate change that are always more starkly felt in underdeveloped nations, and the scarcity of water and natural resources in some of the places that I've seen, and how that's adversely affected the communities there, and as well as seeing all of the wildlife here that is endangered and their natural habitats being encroached upon. I asked myself, what could I do? And when you kind of ask that question, sometimes the world answers in a loud voice, and the United Nations stepped forward and asked for me to join as a Goodwill ambassador, and I said yes.
You spoke about the Gulf oil spill when you in your speech to the crowd. Do you think that this is a particular teaching moment for the U.S.?
Let's hope it's a teaching moment for the world. I mean, as far as I can see, we're all still driving around in cars that use gas, and we have to really come to terms with what that means. And it is a finite source. So how are we going to, sort of wean ourselves off of that, and how will we, in a very conscious way, in a very thoughtful way, move toward things that are more sustainable? And also, there's an economic interest that we need to take advantage of and find ways to grow green economies and put our resources into finding renewable fuel sources, and hopefully that's where we'll be headed in the future.
In your personal opinion, what is the best possible way to stimulate political leaders out of apathy when it comes to investing in environmental issues?
Well, I think unfortunately many political leaders, probably President Kagame excluded though, need to see a political upside for their involvement in something that would seem to be purely altruistic. It's something that we've seen with issues like Darfur, where there may be a commitment of soldiers and resources where there won't be a boon gained that leaders don't want to necessarily commit to. So, as I said, I think this is an issue that everyone's going to have to focus on for their own self-preservation in the future, but hopefully we can be smart and get ahead of that and stem that, and then the leaders will have something to be celebrated for being forward-thinking, for being prescient, for being smart about what's happening as opposed to being reactive.
What about cinema?
Cinema can play a place too. It's a little trickier because as every economy is struggling, the movie business is no different. And it's all tends to be about prequels and sequels and titles being regurgitated. You guys see all the same stuff I see. So it's a little harder work to try and do it in a movie, but sometimes a movie can have a great social impact. I think rarely, but I've been involved in a couple that I think have, so hopefully we can do that. It's just a little difficult to make a movie that seems like medicine. I mean, I think the movie's main job is really to entertain, and a lot of people go to movies because they don't want to think about the hard stuff. So you kind of have to smuggle those issues in. Yeah, you got to trick people to come to the table on that one.